What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so he's like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit out? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
Man, that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
The next day.
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
That's a completely different angle. Michael Jordan said something that left LeBron James frozen. And this wasn't trash talk or some corny interview moment. This hit way deeper than that. This was different. This was Jordan breaking a decades-long silence and dropping a message that landed heavy, so clear, so sharp, that LeBron had nothing ready. No tweet, no Instagram story, no slick response, just silence. And once you hear what Jordan said, it makes perfect sense why LeBron stayed quiet. Because this wasn't a shot, it was a mirror.
I twist my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Jordan held up a reflection of what basketball used to stand for. And when LeBron looked into it, he saw everything that feels off about the game today. The wild part, Jordan never even said LeBron's name. He didn't need to. Every word, every example, every standard he laid out was a straight challenge to the culture LeBron helped shape over the last decade.
You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact. And I twisted my ankle. I taped it up, and I went back out and I played. You know, and I felt that. I always felt that.
And I am at a point in my career now where I don't lose sleep over that. Like, fuck, how did me and Luka lose?
Right,
and it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
By the end of this video, you're gonna see the NBA through a totally different lens. NBC brought back NBA coverage this season for the first time in over 20 years. Big move, big money, big production. But the real shock was who they got to show up. Michael Jordan agreed to appear in special segments throughout the season. And if you know anything about MJ, you know he never does this. He stays quiet, protects his brand, handles business, and avoids modern basketball talk almost entirely. So when NBC announced Jordan would actually speak on today's game, people locked in. The opening night segment was calm. Jordan talked legacy, the evolution of the sport, missing real competition, clean, respectful, nothing wild. Then the second segment dropped a week later, and everything shifted. The topic was what truly defines a champion. And that's when Jordan went somewhere nobody expected. He told a story from Chicago in the 90s. He talked about warming up and looking up at the upper deck, seeing families sitting way up there. Regular people, hard-working people who saved for months just to buy those cheap 300-level seats. Jordan said those fans mattered to him more than anything. He knew some of them might only see him play once in their entire lives. Maybe it was a father bringing his kid. Maybe it was a child begging for a birthday gift. Whatever it was, Jordan understood something deeper. For them, this wasn't just a game. This was everything. And then Jordan dropped the line that flipped everything upside down. He said, when I put on that uniform, I wasn't just playing for myself. I was playing for that person in the cheap seats who spent everything they had just to watch me compete. He followed it up by saying, if he could physically walk onto that court, then he owed it to those fans to be there. No excuses, no shortcuts, no rest nights. You show up and you give people exactly what they paid to see.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up.
Then the interviewer brought up modern load management, sitting out back-to-back games, sports science saying rest equals longer careers. That whole argument. Jordan paused for a moment, smiled, but it wasn't warm at all. It was that same cold smile he used before cooking defenders. He said, load management shouldn't exist unless you're actually injured. He said the game isn't about you, it's about the people who love it. And then he closed with this bombshell. If you're making 40, 50 million a year and can't play 70 games, then you're stealing from the fans who made you rich. Silence hit the studio instantly. The host tried to rush to the next topic, but everyone watching felt it. Jordan didn't say names, but he didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who that message was aimed at.
Kobe didn't want to disappoint his fans, especially the ones in the 300 sections that saved up to watch him play. I remember asking him why he couldn't just sit a game out because he was hurting. He said, "What about the fans that saved up to watch me play just once?" He never forgot about his fans.
Within hours, social media went crazy. LeBron supporters jumped in fast, posting career totals, longevity stats, and pointing out he's still playing at 40. But then people pulled up the real numbers, and that's when things got tense. Michael Jordan played in 93% of his possible games across his career. 93%! That includes 2 major injury seasons where he barely played at all. Take those years out, and the number climbs even higher. Jordan played all 82 games 9 different times, 9 full seasons without missing a single game. Through sickness, minor injuries, and pure exhaustion, he still showed up.
Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
Through everything, Jordan showed up, night after night. LeBron James has played about 88% of his possible games. Now, 88% sounds solid until you stack it next to 93%. That 5% gap doesn't look small when you stretch it over a 20-year run. That's hundreds of games missed, not a few random nights. And here's the part that really hits hard. LeBron has played all 82 games exactly one time in his entire 23-year career. 1 full season. That's it. It gets rougher when you zoom in on the Lakers' years. In 7 seasons with Los Angeles, LeBron has cleared 70 games only once. Most years, he's hovering around 60 games played. That means he's missing close to a quarter of every season. And we're not talking about major injuries every time. We're talking rest days, soreness, and what they call load management. Now compare that to Jordan's final run with the Bulls. In 1998, Jordan was 35 years old, banged up, worn down, and still playing every single night at full speed. He played all 82 games, then ran through the playoffs, won the championship, and nailed the game winner in Game 6 to close out his Bulls career. That's empty in the tank. That's what champions do. The numbers don't even argue anymore, and LeBron knows it. That's probably why he stayed quiet. After Jordan spoke, what was there to say? The stats backed Jordan louder than any debate ever could. To really get what's happening here, you have to see the bigger picture. Jordan and LeBron stand for 2 completely different mindsets about basketball. This isn't just about play style, it's about belief. Jordan came up in an era where toughness was the standard. The 80s and 90s were physical, ruthless, and unforgiving. The Detroit Pistons even created the Jordan rules just to beat him up and slow him down. They clotheslined him, elbowed him, slammed him to the floor. Every single drive to the rim came with punishment, and the league allowed it. That was basketball back then. No whistles, no mercy. And Jordan never complained. He never sat out because he felt sore. He came back harder every single night. The flu game says it all. 1997 NBA Finals Game 5, Utah. Jordan woke up violently sick, most likely food poisoning from bad pizza the night before. He was so weak he could barely stand during warm-ups. Any other player would have said they couldn't go. Jordan suited up anyway. He dropped 38 points, hit the dagger, dragged his team to a win, and literally collapsed into Scottie Pippen's arms at the end because his body had nothing left. That wasn't hype, that was heart. That's the mentality Jordan was talking about. That was the standard he lived by, and it wasn't just him. Kobe Bryant had the exact same mindset. There's a famous moment where a reporter asked Kobe why he didn't rest more when he was beat up. Kobe said, "What about the kid in the upper deck who saved his allowance for 6 months just to see me play?" He added, "I'm supposed to tell him I'm too tired." Kobe understood the responsibility. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, Charles Barkley, all of them lived by that same code. They played hurt, they played tired, they played when they didn't feel right because that was the job. Bird had chronic back pain so bad he sometimes couldn't tie his own shoes. He still played. Magic found out he had HIV, and his first thought wasn't himself. It was sadness that he couldn't play anymore. These guys love the game more than anything. The game changed fast. 2016 was the real breaking point. Kobe retired. Tim Duncan retired. Kevin Garnett retired. All in the same year. Those were the last guys who truly remembered what basketball used to stand for. Once they walked away, everything shifted. And who was left to shape the new culture? LeBron James. And LeBron's philosophy couldn't be more different. He pushes longevity over peak excellence. He puts body preservation over nightly competition. He built a whole mindset around rest days and load management. And yeah, on paper, it sounds smart. Sports science improved. Recovery matters more now. But here's the issue. When you're making $50 million a year, when you're the face of the league, when fans are dropping hundreds just to see you play, games don't get to be optional. LeBron helped normalize sitting out. He made skipping nights feel acceptable. Suddenly, showing up felt like a favor instead of the job. And now every young player entering the league thinks that's just how it works. They see LeBron resting and think they should too. They see Kawhi Leonard missing half a season and assume that's fine. The standard didn't slip, it collapsed. Here's where it gets even crazier. After Jordan's interview aired, reporters started asking players around the league what they thought. Some stayed neutral, some defended load management, but nobody asked LeBron directly. Everyone already knew he couldn't defend it. His own words did the damage. Remember what LeBron said after losing the 2017 and 2018 finals? He said, "It's just basketball at the end of the day, just basketball." Picture Jordan saying that. Picture Kobe saying that. It sounds insane because it would never happen. To them, basketball wasn't just a game. It was everything. It defined who they were. When they lost, it tore them apart. Jordan wouldn't talk to anyone for days after a loss. Kobe went straight to the gym and worked until his body literally shut down. Losing mattered to them. It stayed with them. But with LeBron, it feels different. Winning only matters when he wins. When he loses, suddenly competition isn't everything. Rings don't define legacy. There's more to life than basketball. You can't play both sides. Either you live and die with every game or you don't. Jordan was a pure competitor. LeBron is a businessman who happens to play basketball. And then there's the quote that really pulls the mask off. After the 2011 finals loss to Dallas, LeBron faced heavy criticism. His response? He said the people rooting for him to fail still had to wake up and live the same miserable lives. Think about that. He was talking about the fans, the people who pay to see him play, the people who support the league and fund the lifestyle. And he dismissed them just because they criticized his performance. Jordan would never do that, even when people doubted him early on. Even when they said he couldn't win championships, he never went after the fans. He used doubt as fuel. He answered criticism on the court. He understood that opinions come with greatness. That criticism is part of the deal. LeBron acts like fans should feel lucky just to watch him, like their opinions don't matter, like they're beneath him. That's the culture Jordan is pushing back against. This idea that players don't owe anything to the people who made the game what it is. That showing up is optional. That fans should just accept whatever effort players feel like giving that night. And LeBron built that mindset brick by brick over the last 15 years. When reporters tried to get LeBron's response to Jordan's comments, his camp said there was no comment, no statement, no tweet, no Instagram post, nothing. And that silence says everything. LeBron always has something to say. He's active online, dropping thoughts, posting messages, throwing subtle shots. But when Michael Jordan challenges everything LeBron stands for, suddenly it's quiet. That's not random. That's because LeBron knows Jordan hit a nerve, and there's no clean comeback. Jordan's words didn't stop with LeBron either. They sent shockwaves through the whole league. Once Jordan reminded everyone what greatness used to look like, every current star had to face that comparison. Take Kawhi Leonard. Over the last 5 seasons, he's missed more games than he's played. Constant load management, and he's only 33 years old. After Jordan spoke, fans started asking a simple question. Why can't Kawhi play 70 games when Jordan played 82 at 35? There was no answer. Then there's Joel Embiid, MVP talent, no doubt, but he misses games every year. People defend it by saying his body breaks down. But Jordan played through broken ribs, sprained ankles, illness, and total exhaustion. Why does Embiid get a pass Jordan never asked for? And James Harden turned load management into a routine. Games off whenever he feels like it. Trade demands, sitting out until he gets his way. Jordan wasn't just talking to LeBron. He was calling out an entire era.
He treats basketball like it's just a job, not a passion. And the league lets it slide because LeBron helped normalize that behavior. Now every star in the league gets measured against the Jordan standard, and every one of them comes up short. Not because they lack talent, but because they lack the mindset.
They miss what Jordan understood. Greatness isn't just skill. It's showing up. It's respecting the game and the people who love it. It's knowing millions of people would give anything for the opportunity these players treat like nothing. Think about regular people. Maybe you're a nurse working brutal 12-hour shifts. Maybe you're a construction worker freezing outside all day. Maybe you're a teacher grinding through stress and low pay. Basketball is your escape. So you save for months to buy tickets. You take time off work. You drive hours to the arena. You bring your kid who's been counting down to this game for weeks. You sit down excited, ready for the moment. Then 30 minutes before tip-off, they announce the star player is out. Not injured, just resting. Load management. How does that feel? Betrayed, like your money and time meant nothing. Like you got played. That's exactly what Jordan was talking about. That's the reality fans deal with constantly now. And most players don't even think twice. They'll post online about self-care and listening to their bodies, but they never think about the single parent who saved 3 months of grocery money just to buy 1 ticket as a birthday gift. That's the disconnect. That's the problem Jordan is calling out. They don't think about the die-hard fan in the cheap seats who might only see their hero once in their entire life. Jordan cared about those fans. Kobe cared about those fans. They knew every single person in that building made a sacrifice just to be there. And they respected that by showing up and competing every night. That's not complicated. That's basic respect. But in today's NBA, even basic respect feels like too much to ask. So here's the big question everyone keeps asking. Can Jordan actually change anything? Can one interview series really fix a culture that's been building for 15 years? And honestly, probably not for this generation. LeBron isn't changing. Kawhi isn't changing. These guys are locked into their way of thinking. They've convinced themselves that load management is smart and that playing fewer games somehow makes them better. You're not changing their minds now. But Jordan isn't trying to save this generation. He's trying to save the next one. There are kids in high school right now who'll be NBA stars in 5 years, and they're watching, they're listening. When Michael Jordan speaks, people pay attention. He's the greatest player ever. He's the standard everyone gets judged by. So when he goes on national TV and talks about respecting fans, about playing through discomfort, about understanding your responsibility to the game, that message hits hard. Those young players hear it loud and clear. Imagine if one of them chooses Jordan's path instead of LeBron's, plays every game unless he's truly injured, respects the fans who pay to watch him, builds his legacy on showing up and competing, not on managing a brand or picking rest days. That would change everything. It would force young stars to step up because nobody wants to be known as the soft player sitting out while their competition keeps grinding. Best case scenario, players start feeling embarrassed by the comparison. They hear Jordan talk about playing through the flu, and suddenly sitting out with a slightly sore ankle looks weak. They hear him talk about fans in the cheap seats and realize how disrespectful load management really is. Maybe that pressure wakes them up. Maybe it reminds them that being a pro athlete is a privilege millions of people would give anything for. But there's also a worst-case outcome. These players ignore Jordan completely. They call him old, say he's out of touch, claim he doesn't understand modern sports science. They double down on load management and convince themselves they're smarter than past generations. If that happens, the NBA keeps fading, ratings keep dropping, fan connection keeps shrinking, and the league slowly drifts away from what once made it special. Right now, the NBA is at a crossroads. Jordan's interview forced everyone to choose. Do you follow the old school mentality that built basketball into a global powerhouse? Or do you follow the new school approach that's slowly tearing down everything those legends built? The answer feels obvious, but in LeBron's era, even obvious things turn controversial. 20 years ago, nobody debated whether players should show up and play. That was expected. That was the bare minimum of being a professional. Now somehow asking players making $50 million to play 70 games a year is seen as unreasonable. That's how far the culture has slipped. And Jordan's message couldn't be simpler. If you can physically play, you play. You honor the fans who paid to see you. You respect teammates counting on you. You understand the game is bigger than you. That's not radical. That's basic professionalism. But in today's NBA, even basic professionalism feels like an impossible bar. Here's what we know. Michael Jordan went on national TV and said something so real, so sharp, that LeBron James had no response, no direct shots, no name calling. He didn't need to. He simply reminded everyone what basketball used to stand for. He talked about fans making real sacrifices just to watch one game. He talked about the responsibility that comes with making millions to play a sport. He talked about showing up no matter what, because that's what professionals do. And LeBron went completely silent. No tweets, no Instagram posts, no statements through reporters, nothing. Because what could he say? His entire career clashes with everything Jordan described. A culture where sitting out is normal, where competition feels optional, where fans are treated like background noise. Jordan exposed all of it with one honest interview. This is bigger than basketball. This is about standards. This is about what we accept from people labeled as role models. Do we want a league full of warriors who battle through everything? Or a league full of businessmen who treat games like optional meetings? The current generation probably won't change, but the next generation is watching. And maybe, just maybe, one young star hears Jordan's message and decides to carry that torch forward. Maybe they remember that showing up matters, that competing matters, that the fans in the cheap seats who saved everything just to see you once deserved to actually see you play. That's Michael Jordan's real legacy, not just rings or highlights or commercials. It's the standard. He lived it. He proved that greatness takes more than talent. It takes heart, dedication, and respect for the people who love the game. And that's exactly why LeBron had no answer. If you rocked with this breakdown, hit like, subscribe for more real NBA stories. Share this with someone who still believes showing up matters.